So this is actually something that I learned in recovery that I've just continued to do since then. And it's getting a biscuit or a cookie and spreading it with peanut butter on the top. Because what I learned in recovery is that I have to eat a lot more than everybody else. I have to eat a lot more than any other person would eat. And so this cookie was made for a normal person, and I need to eat more than that. I need to eat more. And there's a million delicious ways that you can eat more food than the normal size serving would come, like by spreading peanut butter on top of it. And arguably, now that I'm nutritionally rehabilitated, I don't need to keep spreading peanut butter on top of my cookies. But it tastes really nice, so why wouldn't I? Anyway, so today's video, I want to talk about something that actually came up on the Slack group, which is a peer support group for adults in recovery from restrictive eating disorders. Somebody pointed out this. I don't know, she said she was maybe disappointed to see that I wear a Fitbit. And I said, this is not a Fitbit, it's an Apple Watch. It's actually an Apple Watch that my husband gave me for my birthday in September. So, and it's great, I get texts on it, I can see my emails, it's really helpful. I certainly do not use it for anything else other than telling the time, seeing texts, seeing emails, seeing Slack messages. That's all I use it for. But it demonstrated just her seeing that and her brain immediately jumping to, that's a Fitbit. Tabitha uses a Fitbit. She's obviously tracking her exercise, and that's probably the reason that she allows herself to eat chocolate cookies with peanut butter spread on top, because she's tracking her exercise. Her brain immediately jumped to all of these thoughts and conclusions about me that absolutely aren't true. And that happens a lot when you have anorexia. And so it's not about sort of saying, oh, you shouldn't jump to those conclusions. It's just actually about understanding, well, why is my brain finding that important? Like, honestly, why does my brain give a shit who wears a Fitbit or not, or seeing someone's watch and trying to decipher from looking at the video closer, is that a Fitbit or is it actually an Apple Watch? And then making all these conclusions. You know, if your brain's not in energy deficit, your brain won't give a flying fuck about who is wearing what as a watch. I know, because my brain doesn't do that anymore. Whereas when I was sick, when I was underweight, when I wasn't eating enough food, my brain was all over and up in everybody else's business. I would have done exactly that, probably. I would have made all these projections. Like, if I was watching this video now when I was in recovery, or when I was sick, I'd probably be making all these projections about, oh, I bet she went running this morning, that's why she's eating. Well, I can tell you right now, I haven't, and I don't run. I don't run, let's just make that very clear. So, the peanut butter is dripping off the side, so I'm trying to eat and talk to you at the same time. And I think that it's really indicative of the state that your brain is in when it's jumping to those conclusions and when it's just giving a shit about stuff that really it shouldn't give a shit about. And so, well, what do you need to do? I would say you need to eat more food. And as you start to eat more food, your brain, as it becomes more nourished, will give less of a shit about stupid things, like how much exercise other people are doing and how much other people are eating. Because the reason that your brain is interested in that is because it's in a state of energy deficit and it thinks it's in a competition to migrate to where there is abundant food, because your brain thinks it's in a place of food scarcity or a famine, and you're in this competition with everybody else to eat as little as possible and move as much as possible to actually get to where you need to go. So that's likely why your brain is doing that. That's why your brain is interested in these things. And so to explain that further, there are 3 vital substances that your body needs to survive. One is oxygen, one is water, and the other one is food. When you're in a state of energy deficit, one of these vital substances is not being met. And so your body is giving feedback to your brain going, hey, hello, 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 you need to eat. There's not enough food here. And your brain's going, whoa, shit, we must be in a famine environment. There's obviously food scarcity because why else will there not be enough food? And so your brain is going, need to focus on food, need to find food, need to migrate. And then it's going, need to migrate. So don't worry about eating, you've got to move. And you're in competition for everyone else to move. And so your brain has this hyper-awareness both on food, but also a hyper-awareness of not eating and moving. And all of these things seem massively important because they are, because your body knows that food is one of the vital substances it needs in order to survive. So your brain develops this hyper-awareness, super competitive with other people. I need to move more than everybody else. I need to eat less than everybody else. But at the same time, also have this hyper-awareness about food and aware of what everybody else is eating. And it's tiring and it's boring and it can go on for years and years and years. Your brain is in energy deficit for years. The glorious part is that when your brain comes out of energy deficit, it won't give a shit anymore. It really won't. It won't care. And that's why it's only people with anorexia who are in a state of energy deficit that are even interested in me eating a cookie while I'm talking to you. Other people don't care. Other people will be like, why is she eating and talking to us at the same time? And the real truth of that is because I'm pretty strapped for time and I'm making these YouTube videos in breaks in between clients when I can have a snack. But anyway, and I'm also getting feedback that people think it's great to actually see a normal person just eating food. So hey, there's a reason. But anyway, so if you get out of energy deficit, your brain will no longer need to be hyper-aware around food. It will also no longer need to compare what you're eating to what other people are eating. It will no longer need to make you feel competitive about moving more than everybody else because it doesn't need to migrate anymore. So it doesn't have this hyper focus on, I need to eat more food and, I need to move more and eat less than everybody else. All of that goes away when you come out of energy deficit. And what happens is what seeps into the place where you used to be thinking about food the whole time and comparing and this hyper awareness, other things steep in, like you find that you're more interested in work and other things just start to interest you more. I don't know, cats, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you're going to have this empty brain where the space where food was and thinking about all this stuff was. You're actually just going to find that your brain is filled with other things which are arguably more interesting. And thinking about food the whole time and comparing to other people is really, really tiring. And it's so annoying when your brain does something like see someone's watch and goes, is that a Fitbit? Is that person working out? Are they working out more than we? Blah, 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 blah. Boring, 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 boring. No one cares apart from anorexia. So use those things, that hyper-awareness around food, that tendency to jump to conclusions that everybody else is exercising all the time, that tendency to jump to conclusions that nobody is eating very much all the time, the tendency to jump to conclusions that you're eating more than you need to be or that you're exercising less than you need to be. All of those things, they are indicative that you are not eating enough food. They are indicative that your brain is in a state of malnutrition. They are indicative that you are in energy deficit. They are indicative that your brain thinks you're in a scarcity environment. That's what the hyper-competitiveness and all of those things come up. So all of these things point to you need to eat more food. So go get a cookie and spread some peanut butter on it. And then do that again, and do it again, and do it again. Because remember, you need to be eating more than a person who is not in a state of malnutrition. You need to be eating more than me, because I'm just eating what I want to eat. So you need to actively eat more food than someone who's not in a state of malnutrition, okay? All right, get eating.